Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, chat panelists, for your help. I appreciate it. Having said that, somebody asked a question, I think, about Rosemary Jetty, Camilo, and devoted fans. Question: martial law. What will stop Trump declaring it if communities respond aggressively against ICE? Not much, and I'm glad you posted that question because if you notice the title, Eric Prince, according to a report I read this morning, is pressing, or he's doing everything he can. He's pushing all the buttons, and he's been at it for a long while. He has not been successful. But do you guys remember months ago, I told you that Trump will use his network of 3%ers, militias. And I mentioned Eric Prince. I believe I mentioned Eric Prince, but that's part of the civilian group of people that Trump can use because it has, remember, Eric Prince's sister was Trump's education department commissioner or secretary. So he's familiar with Eric Prince, and I'm sure Eric Prince's sister, I don't remember her name, but I'm sure lobbied Trump. This is a very dangerous outcome, and I can't read the whole article. I could not read the whole article, but they were showing a lot of, in other countries, the government used those paramilitary groups, they hire them. That's to protect them from being sued, among other things. And Trump recognizes that, and as we know, Trump has this fantasy of oppressing people, hurting people. He thinks he's going to be able to get away using Eric Prince's mercenaries. That's who they are. That's what they are. Because they have plans in the White House, okay? Right now, they are not sure about the military, but they're going to need people to oppress and suppress us. And if you notice, like Rosemary said, communities rising up, responding, going against ICE, basically, and start complaining about what they are doing. And Trump is awakening a sector of the population. I don't think he understands where that's going to lead. High school students. In fact, I don't know how many of you watched Mado last night. I don't remember. I think it was on Mado last night, but I read about it. Okay. There's a town in Massachusetts. Okay, I believe it's this past Sunday. One high schooler, very good kid, according to reports, he goes to school and does the right thing. They nabbed him. His coach, his teacher in school, and his high school coach was waiting for him for some kind of soccer training or some kind of sports training. He's very involved into sports. He's an A. Very good grades. He's a very good student. They arrested him. And the high school held its graduation, I believe, Sunday. Okay. And after the graduation, it's either Sunday or Monday. No, it was Sunday. After the graduation, the high school walked, I believe, to town hall or somewhere. I believe he's being held there, demanding that he be released. And you're going to hear more, like I believe I said that yesterday, intuitively I feel you're going to hear more of those things. This is heading into a place Trump has no idea. And do you guys remember I told you, Harvard, they are taking the lead, but a number of other groups will join them and start protesting. And when I mean, when you have high school kids, they start organizing, they're young. They don't understand, they don't understand all those, well, it's not that they don't understand, but they're very young, their brain is still forming. The notion that the government is going to do something bad to them, okay, does not register. And my prediction is, don't be surprised. When the time comes, when Trump feels very vulnerable, and Eric Prince, because Trump is open to that, to hiring Eric Prince to do his bidding for him. It won't only be high school students. It will be high school students, college students, union people, all kinds of people. Remember I mentioned violence at some point? Okay. Intuitively I feel that's what's coming. On top of Harvard, he's going to, obviously, all he does is lies. Okay? But don't be surprised if these different mercenaries fire on people, because they want all kinds of people getting together. They will be protesting peacefully, but those mercenaries who have fought on foreign land for money, well, mercenaries, they paid to do certain things. They're going to reach a point where they're not trying to handle protesters. Those guys, all they know, just like our military, and that's why it's not a good thing to have your military doing police work. Police are trained a certain way. The military is trained a whole different way. And mercenaries, completely different thing. And that's what I meant. Now it's becoming clearer. The prediction I made a while back, okay, about, I described 3 different ways Trump can find himself in the streets. That's one dangerous way, that those guys can fire on people and all hell is going to break loose. That's my prediction, and that's one way Trump may find himself in the streets. And let me tell you, it will be ugly. Against the Trump regime, it's not only Trump. That's my prediction. And as far as declaring martial law, okay, intuitively, he can declare that stuff. Trump doesn't need, as we know, if you look at the way he is framing his narrative when it comes to immigrants, okay, as intuitively I feel, don't be surprised if Trump was to, declare martial law on June 14th, okay. Trump, all he knows is he's going to lie, just like he lied about that old law that he's using to have immigrants deported. I forget the name of the law, but you guys know which one I'm talking about. Okay, some kind of war. We're at war, so he has to get rid of our enemies. They just used it, then they lie. And that's why he's losing in court, because everything he does is based on lies. And he's going to do the same thing with declaring martial law. his authority is being challenged. So he will declare martial law. He can do it at any point. All it's going to take is for Trump, his level of fear to go a little higher, because he can't control himself. I don't know how many of you heard. Right now, he's going crazy, having major meltdown behind the scenes. It's on the news today, against Amy Coney Barrett and some of the justices who are he thinks are against them. They're supposed to serve him, just like Norm Bundy, among others, and his regime. He doesn't care about the law thing, that the laws are there and the justices have to, you bring a case to them, it has to meet certain criteria, and if it doesn't, you lose. Yes, they do break precedents and they play games, Robert and the conservatives, but basically that's how it's supposed to work. So he's not happy about the people he placed those people thinking that they were going to do his bidding for him, and it's not working that way. So intuitively, I feel he's using now a different tactic to get his way with the Supreme Court. Yes, he's not happy. Whenever their decision comes down, it's against them. That's what he's going to try with everybody until he has his way. I don't feel that's going to work. And Amy Coney Barrett is the last person. She's pretty stubborn. That's what I'm getting. If any of you know her or know about her, please let me know. She is pretty stubborn. And I mean, she's, a conservative and, but if you try to push her, she's not going to go for it. So if Trump thinks bullying her, he's going to have his way, I got news for him. It's not going to work. And do you guys remember I said a while back, I don't remember how long ago, she's a wild card in the sense that she is not going to do Trump's bidding, and she may even moderate her. She's very conservative now, according to reports. She may become more moderate on her views. Age does that to some of us, not all of us. Some of us get even more conservative. But that's what I'm picking up when I focus on Amy Coney Barrett. But she's not going to do his bidding for him. He's using the wrong tactic, just like he did with Leonard Leo, among other people, and it backfired. And in fact, that's another prediction I made. World leaders, I believe the way I put it was, other countries would link arms against us. The newspapers are beginning to report on it right now, because, let me see, okay, there's an article, I don't remember exactly, it's on MSN website, okay? It says, world leaders are joining arms against Trump. That's the title, I believe, of the article. And also there is another thing I also said that's coming to pass. Yesterday I mentioned it. All his lies are catching up with him. Stephanie Rule was talking about Bessent being unable to answer questions because he knows he's lying, and what he's saying does not support what he knows to be true. So, but to go back to this whole Trump unleashing all kinds of crazy laws, don't be surprised. Just be open to anything. He will do whatever it takes. That's what it feels like to me, to get his way. At first, it's been working, but I don't feel it's going to continue that way. That's my prediction. And Rosemary, I'm sorry, you know, nothing is going to prevent him from doing this. I hope that came out, that I made that clear. What's going to happen is Republican leaders, when people start rising up, go up in arms, if they are still in power, which I think they will, unless like the other prediction I made, Congress will break into three parts in the House, Republicans, and then one group will join Democrat and get rid of them. And that can happen. And that's the only way I feel that will defang Trump. Okay? But the only other way is us putting pressure on Congress, on Republicans, their constituents. They won't listen to me. I'm not a Republican. So that's the only way, okay? Because they are all in with Trump to let him do whatever he wants to do until it's hurting them. And you know, their behavior have demonstrated that. That's my prediction. So don't be shocked about anything that Trump does going forward, because behind the scenes, I feel he's panicking, and that's why you are hearing that he's complaining about the Supreme Court. And it's not only that, like I said yesterday, Elon was the focus of everybody's eye. Right now, Elon is gone. The guns is going to be towards each other. And Trump is going to have his own issues with Elon. But you guys remember I told you don't be surprised if some people in the White House start jumping ship. It is because it's a toxic environment already. But everyone was focused on Elon. They hated, that's how bad they hated his guts. So now that it's just like when two people are dating, you know, and the parent of one of them, you know, doesn't think very much of the guy. And instead of focus, you know, that's the worst thing a parent can do. Step in and say anything, because then they both of them focus on the parent. That's it. Oh, you shouldn't be with one another and blah blah blah, whatever. But if you leave them alone and you let them see each other for who they really are, the girl may say, you know, I don't think this is the right guy for me, and walk. But other than that, they're going to focus on you. And that's the same thing at the White House. Right now, they're looking at each other and reevaluating what's going on. And the friction, the dysfunctionality is going to get worse in the White House, the toxicity. And watch that. It's going to get really bad. And intuitively, I feel like saying it started already. Watch July, August. We're going to hear some stories. And like I said, a lot of people will jump ship. And Trump will have no choice but get rid of some people. He's already, we haven't heard about it yet, but intuitively I feel he's beginning to look around him. He's not succeeding, he's failing. But the dummy, he doesn't realize it's his own fault. He surrounded himself with a bunch of incompetent. The first time he was in the White House, it wasn't as bad because he had competent people working with him. This time around, he's not winning at all. And the tariff stuff that's causing major problem for him, he's dug in. And in fact, there's an article about she dog walking him, basically. She's standing up to him like crazy. And I told you that, guys. she is not going to deal with them in a nice way at all, because she thinks he's a lowlife. I'm sorry, but that's what I'm getting. So Trump, more panic is going to, Trump is going to panic more, and people in the White House, they're not going to know which way to go, because everything they do is based on lies. And if you remember, there's something else that's critical here. I almost forgot to mention it. I don't know how many of you heard what Stephen Miller said in a meeting to a bunch of, where ICE was there. He said he demanded that ICE arrest or make 3,000, at least 3,000 arrests a day. Otherwise, he was going to fire the leaders. I'm sorry, I forgot to point that out when I was talking about France and his mercenaries. What that's going to do once Trump decide to bring Eric Prince in, if he doesn't get any blowback, that I have to say that. If he feels, the coast is free, he will get Eric Prince. He's open to it. It's a matter of when he feels comfortable enough to say, yes, let's do it, okay? Intuitively, I feel, Eric Prince and those people, you think they are arresting Americans now for no reason? Watch what happens. Intuitively, I feel right now, Stephen Miller's, with the way he sees things, he doesn't care if an American gets caught. He's getting snarled in his misbehaving ways of conducting his deportation, his fantasy of get this country, I may rephrase, his fantasy of getting rid of people of color from this country. He's simply starting with immigrants. He won't stop there. That's my prediction. And but the danger is that meeting. I wasn't surprised when I read about it. His behavior will get worse as they panic behind the scenes, and they want to be able to show, since their perception is their base get more excited or happier when they do bad things, when they mistreat people. Yeah, but they're going to fail. That's my prediction. Let's see what happens. And as I mentioned yesterday, I didn't mention that yesterday. Things are going to get really bad between Trump and Elon, but there is something else that's brewing behind the scenes. I read about it this morning. Tesla's board, or the executives at Tesla, grilled Elon, either over the weekend or yesterday. I don't remember exactly when they said that meeting took place. These people, if they could fire Elon, it seems like there's a clause in the contract of all these people, or whatever it is they have when they become president of a country, you can't get rid of them. And some of you told me about that as well. I did not know. Zuckerberg has the same clause. You can't fire him from Facebook. That's why he's still around, because I thought he would be gone by now, but I did not know about the clause. But now he's switching flag anyway. He's carrying the MAGA flag, and that's creating a lot of flack at Facebook. That's what I read. And to me, when I read that, it's proof what I was getting is true, because if they could get rid of him, they would have. Him and Elon, you can't get rid of them. But Elon is going to walk away on his own. Tesla is going to become a problem. It's going to continue to deteriorate. Everything about Tesla, okay? the government. Somebody posted something. I don't know how many of you have seen it. Trump or Cohen, and that resonates. Cohen said, don't be surprised if Trump goes after him, because Trump is jealous of how much money he has. I mentioned that before. I don't remember exactly when, but in the past months, okay? And Trump is fully aware he's gotten to where he is on the back of our government. Trump is going to go after him about that as well. Cohen is correct. I heard it from somebody's video. I didn't watch Cohen saying it, but someone else's video channel, someone else's channel. They were talking about it. All those things are coming towards Elon, and he's going to make me right. Elon is, Trump, it's not only Trump that's going to have a very bad summer. Elon as well. And you know, I feel like saying two. Within the next, I don't think it's 2 months, within the next 2 years. The prediction I made, I saw Elon with some raggedy clothes on. It seemed like he was in a hotel room all by himself. You know, at the time, I didn't say doing drugs, but I wouldn't be surprised if his addiction got worse. He becomes more reclusive. And I told you guys, the people he thought were his friends, he'll become radioactive. Right now, some people, I mean, people who he used to deal with, want nothing to do with them. That's in the news. And I told you that before. Watch what happens. Within the next 2 years, he will disappear. When I say disappear, he will be holed up somewhere. We're not going to hear very much about him. And his companies, I don't know how this is going to happen, but it's going to get so bad for him and his businesses. I don't feel he's going to own those companies anymore. That's my prediction. And Trump won't be in the White House to help him. Somebody asked me a question about Trump being impeached this month. No. To be honest with you guys, I don't know. The 3 ways I feel Trump can be booted from the White House, I don't know which one is going to go first. Okay? Right now, the immigration thing, activity that he's conducting, and Miller is, you know, he's not well. He's driving it. Miller and Vought can precipitate something. I don't know why Vought, I'm feeling I should put Vought in the same. I know he's just as racist and hate government. He wants dictatorship, all kinds of stuff. These people should go to Russia and have a taste of dictatorship before they want to bring it here. But I don't know why I feel like saying Vought and Miller will get themselves in trouble. But they are the driving force behind the scenes. If you notice what Vought did on CNN this past Sunday, he lied and it's backfiring. People have to, oh, it's really bad the way people are calling him out for lying about the budget. And people were not going to lose their insurance, health insurance. The feedback is not very good. Having said that, oh my God, time is going so fast. The Diddy trial, you know, something I have not heard anyone mention. And intuitively, when I focus on the jury, on Cassie and Mia, okay, the way some of the jurors, I can't tell you if it's every single one of them, because I'm unsure. They view Cassie as a victim of, you know, because she was in love with the guy and she wanted to be his wife and have his kids, and she was willing to do anything to please him, and hopefully she would be the wife of a billionaire. Or one of you told me he's worth $500 to $800 million. That's a pretty good money. Nothing to sneeze at. But Mia is viewed differently. Whenever my phone, I get a message on my phone, I have to look at to make sure, okay. You know, Mia was a worker. Yes, she suffered some abuse. I'm not taking anything away that she said. But a lot of the jurors, they see these two people working for Diddy at different capacity, and they had different ambitions. Cassie wanted to be his wife. Mia wanted a job. And, you know, she would manipulate and do anything and everything she can to be in the business that she loves. And you're young. I don't know how old she is. Okay. They understand that. And to what degree I feel, a lot of people are saying his attorney is a scripter. Yeah. But they are looking for the dots. And also this morning, oh good, there's a security, the hotel security, that who had the footages that we've seen on TV. Okay. I feel that security person, I don't know if you guys heard the story yet. I'm going to paraphrase and make it very fast. Diddy called him and asked him if he could pay him $50,000 or something like that in order for him to give him a copy or not, basically brush that whole fight he had with Cassie under the carpet and a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes. The guy brought him a copy of it. I don't know if that's really, really dumb because, yeah, he brought a thumb drive to Diddy. Okay, I hope Diddy is not stupid enough to think they didn't have other copies of it. You know what? He paid the guys, instead of $50,000 he said he was going to give to the guy, he gave the guy $100,000. The thing was for the security people not to release the footage to the media or whomever, or go after him. That didn't help. But the reason why I'm saying this proved the racketeering. Somebody else was talking about it. It's a cover-up of his activities and how he's using his company and everything else. He had other people involved in this activity as well. The point I'm trying to make is the jurors, whatever it feels like to me when I focus on them, you were Diddy's girlfriend or want to be his wife, that's your motivation. You work for the company, you wanted to be there for whatever reason, that's your motivation. What they are looking for, and the security guard, you know, he paid you, that's why I guess they gave him immunity yesterday, I think. Okay. Whatever your motivation is to do things for Diddy, that's your problem. What they are looking for, whatever Cassie said, is Mia saying the same thing? And is that guy saying the same thing? And I don't know, you know, since he was still on the stand when I started this, I was getting the tidbits of what he said. Okay? And that's how I learned about Diddy trying to cover up, beating up Cassie. The jurors are connecting the dots. That's how I feel they're looking at this. And they do expect the lawyers to be able to trip anybody. And it's easy. You can play with people the way people view certain things. You know, I mean, the lawyers, they're very good at that. And in fact, I heard the judge went after one of the defense attorneys, the way he was questioning Mia. But don't be mistaken, okay? The jurors are not stupid. they understand what's going on. And the women, I know a lot of people are saying women are tougher on other women. Yes, that's true. But intuitively, what has been mentioned in court has hurt Diddy tremendously. And there was something else I wanted. Oh, yes. I cannot believe, I have to say this, okay? This has nothing to do with predictions. It has to do with revulsion. I saw a guy with a t-shirt saying, "Free Diddy." Are you kidding me? And a woman is asking for Al Sharpton, among other people, to go protest because this is racism. I just can't, I don't see the racism here. Those of you know better than I do because I wasn't born here. I deal with racism with blunt force. I don't tolerate it. You know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think, I mean, if anything, in fact, I mentioned this not too long ago in one of my streams, I don't remember which one, I blame Diddy because God has helped you. Instead of appreciating your position and do the right thing, no. And, you know, he could have be a pornographer. Instead, he was doing self-destructive things. I understand it has to do with childhood trauma and everything. I'm sure there are people around him who have told him, you better quit it. I'm sure he didn't listen. He could have gone to counseling and change. Yeah, it would take time. But I don't understand those people who are calling for black people to go out and protest because this is racism. Diddy abusing women and his wealth. What he was doing is making porn. But he used everything at his disposal to do it. I didn't think about that until yesterday afternoon. I said that once before. I said, he's in the wrong field. He should be doing porn. But I don't understand a guy standing up with a t-shirt on, Free Diddy, and people asking for black people to go and demonstrate. This is the worst thing I've ever seen, and calling racism. Please let me know if I'm wrong. Oh my God. Like I said, it wasn't any prediction. I just had to rant about it because I got so angry. There's no way. Okay. Yogi Bear says, Bilo Taco is all ready to give Diddy a partner. I mean, go, yes. He's open to it. And Diddy's family are getting the money together because they know that's what he wants. But he's going to have to get women are going to be a problem. Okay. Linda Simmons says, Milo, you were the first one to say that Trump will go to jail. Yes, please, do you still, this thing moved. Yikes. I'm assuming here, hang on a second, the screen moved and I lost. Okay, let me scroll up. Oh yeah, I got it. Yes, Linda Simmons, I still see him going to prison. The only way Trump won't go to prison is if he dies, something like that. Because the level of corruption that's going on behind the scenes, okay, among other things, that will come out, we don't know about yet. And it's not only Trump, the father. Members of his family are at risk. Okay, and at the beginning, this is beginning to sink into them as I speak. They're beginning to realize the notion that he was going to be president for life is not going to happen. Because if you guys notice, they're still working on keeping him there or putting another Republican in his place and stay in power. People like Leonard Leo and company, Heritage Foundation and all these, those people with the Project 2025, they're still thinking that way. Okay, but there is panic, or people are beginning to panic behind the scenes. The arrogance, they came in and, they were going to do this, he was going to govern, by executive order, and, people were going to listen to him, and it's not working. And every day, people are protesting. And now, his ICE agents are facing challenges. And it's going to get worse. And now he's having high school students on his case. They're very bright, but they're young. They don't see the danger on things. When I was 17, 18, the guys, I did something once, till today, when I remember what I did, I'm like, God had me on his hand. My father gave me a racing bike, okay? I don't know what the reason was. The roads in Haiti, where I used to live at, it's not paved, okay? And to my left, there was a truck. The road, I can't tell you exactly how wide the road, between the truck and a drop, okay? I would have enjoyed myself if not getting killed. I was on the bike, I went between the truck and that drop. I don't know how fast, but I wasn't taking my time to make sure I went by cautiously so I wouldn't hurt myself. I just flew by the truck and that narrow little bit of land, the road that was left between the truck and that drop. I could have killed myself. So that's when I see young people protesting that way, we don't see the dangers. We're not going to die. We don't think about that. Those are the worst people you can unleash on a government. Mostly in the United States, because Americans are not into this killing people on the street stuff or hurting mostly high school kids. People will rise up. And Trump is waking those high school students up. Bad recipe for disaster for him. I'm hoping, no high school kids or anyone gets hurt. But with Stephen Miller and those people, their racist attitude and their racist policies, they want to hurt and force minorities out of this country. They'll do anything. That's my concern. Having said that, oh boy, thank you everyone for spending time with me. Thank you, chat managers, for your help. I appreciate it. If anyone would like a reading from me, the link to my website is below the video, psychicmiro.com, or please feel free to call me or text me on my YouTube number. I'm trying to reach 50,000, although I'm not quite sure why my views and attendance are down. Maybe it's because I have to tell people what I am getting. I can't lie and or tell you things that are not true, guys. But anyway, please give me a thumbs up. But I'm trying to reach 50,000. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe and please tell your friends. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you again, everyone. Till then, bye.